minimize the use of whip. I mean, if you can call this a solution, good for you, but I don't see this as a solution. I mean, if I ask you, guys, please study, you should ideally study for 6-8 hours. Nothing matters. But if your parents start thrashing you properly, then you will study for 7-8 hours. Nicely saying all these things, it does not work. Hey, sir, Bhuvnesh, sir, ADL, what are you doing, sir? Please switch off the TV. Stop watching the match, sir. Focus here. Anti-defection law. What is ADL? Tomorrow ask me what is this MP you're writing everywhere, sir? Who is this MP? A day will come, trust me. In this class only. I am sure of it. Okay, so that is all as far as the ADL is concerned, and we are done with the chapter Parliament also. Okay. Are your pens and papers ready with you? Please write a question. Analyze the objectives. Analyze the objectives and provisions. Analyze the objectives and provisions of the anti-defection law in India. Full stop. Analyze the objectives and provisions of the anti-defection law in India. Suggest reforms. Suggest reforms that can balance suggest reforms that can balance the need for political stability. Suggest reforms that can balance the need for political stability with the preservation of individual parliamentary rights. With the preservation of individual parliamentary rights. Okay, so analyze the objectives and provisions of the anti-defection law in India. Suggest reforms that can balance the need for political stability with the preservation of individual parliamentary rights. You have to write 4,000 words in 180 minutes on 20 topics. There is no once more here. See the video, find the question again. Which right? What is a parliamentary right of any MP here? To ask questions, raise concerns, right? Also to truly, faithfully represent their constituency, bring those issues to the forefront. It's not just that you are a party member, you've also been chosen by the people of the area, right? So party loyalty is okay, but there's a limit to party loyalty. Clear on this? Ranjita, that is your task, not my task. 250 words question. Meaning how many marks? Question. 15 marks question. Okay. That's it. We are done with our discussion on the chapter Parliament. Now, let's move on to just summarizing. Oh, firstly, some questions to be solved. Like a very, very difficult question. Let's solve this first. Problem. Here, 10th schedule is the right answer. Anyway, moving on to one more question. Please mark the answer here also. Asked last year. Specifies that a nominated legislator cannot join any party within 6 months. So can join within 6 months. It's that after 6 months cannot join a party. One is wrong. The law does not provide any time frame within which the presiding officer has to decide. Of course, that's true. The law does not provide any kind of time frame. B2 only is the right answer. Okay. Solve one more question. Responsible to the parliament and can be removed by it through no confidence motion. Right answer. Okay. All others are wrong statements. B is the right answer. Now we have a D is also right. See, okay. Calm down. The all political parties in the parliament are represented in the government. That's not possible. Congress is not represented. Wrong. The government is elected by the people. In our country, is the government elected by people? Please tell me, guys. Is the government elected by the people? It is not elected by the people. We only elect local MP. Those MPs are elected representatives, go and from amongst themselves choose who will form the government. Are we clear? That's also wrong. Then the government is chosen by the parliament but cannot be removed by it before completion of fixed term. That's also wrong. NCM can be brought and the government can be removed before 5 years also. Okay. And see, the government is responsible to the, now some of you will say, sir, it should have been Lok Sabha. But Lok Sabha is also a part of parliament. So in that sense, the statement is not wrong. If you had to choose between this word and Lok Sabha, we would have said Lok Sabha is a more appropriate word. But parliament is not wrong per se. Okay. Now let's look at the leaderboard. Let's finish the class. Shelja, relax. Then you see the leaderboard. So that's there. Now, when it comes to individual parliamentarians' role, the question says individual parliamentarians' role as the national lawmaker is on a decline, which in turn has adversely impacted the quality of debates and their which in turn has adversely impacted the quality of their debates and their outcome. Discuss. Please tell me why and how does the individual MP's role as a lawmaker decline in the country? Why? What are the challenges that come in the way of an MP performing his tasks in the House? Okay, one thing is whip. Don't write whip. I am writing whip. You give me some other points. Weak opposition. Biased speaker. Use of ordinances. Literacy levels. Then technicality of governance. Then disruptions in the House. Single party dominance mentioned here. Weak opposition. It's okay. Included. Ruling party dominance. Same thing. Let us mention this. Ruling party dominance. Then absenteeism. Yes or no? Purna, why not ADL? Arre, Purna, whip is what? ADL only, yaar. What are you doing? What do I expect from you guys? And what do you ask? Also, rise of parliamentary committees. That's the next topic also. Now we have so many committees that MPs don't really want to discuss anything. They say send to committee, they will discuss it, etc. How disruption? If you have disruption in the House, then how will the MPs discuss? If your only target is to raise a slogan and bang the desk and the House gets adjourned every day, then how will discussions take place? Right? So these are reasons because of which our MPs are unable to exercise their role as a lawmaker. Are we clear on this? Education level, it is mentioned here, literacy levels. Are we clear, everybody, or still there is some problem? Okay. And also mention suggestions on how these things can be curtailed. One more question. To what extent, in your view, to what extent the parliament is able to ensure accountability of the executive? So basically, firstly, mention all the tools of accountability. Tell me, what are the tools of accountability? How does the parliament ensure accountability? Okay, one is the parliamentary proceedings like question hour, 0 hour. Then we have all these motions, NCM, adjournment, censure motion. Then also control over finances, budget approval, CFI debit, and also parliamentary committees. They prepare reports. We'll discuss this shortly. You'll have a better understanding of this. Parliamentary committees, they prepare reports and submit reports which can be used by the MPs. Guys, what are you writing? Random things here and there. Parliament is able to. Don't write RTI Act, CVC, etc. Parliament. Is CVC Parliament? So what are the tools to ensure the accountability of the executive? How does the executive, or how is the executive checked or kept in check by the what? By the parliament. These are the tools of accountability, and then you can also measure, check accountability, check how these tools are no being followed or not being followed. Clear? For their behavior, their actions and inactions. This is the definition of accountability. Poonam, can we add 0 hour and question hour? It is mentioned here on the screen only. What are you writing? Okay. Limited. It's not a negative impact. It has limited the role of MPs. Lot of MPs are not interested in taking part. Here the question is MP's role as a lawmaker. Here the question is MP's role is ensuring accountability. Understand the crux of the question also, right? Here the question is asking the MP's performance as a participant in decision making. Here it's asking the MP's performance as holding the government responsible, accountable. Two different things. Clear? Please write the answer now. Not right now, later on. Okay, that's it. We are done with all our discussion here. Now, just to summarize what exactly we have covered so far in terms of ground. So in case you want to read your book Lakshmikant, then you can freely read chapter 10, chapter 12. Chapter 10, 12, 22 and 76. 76 is actually ADL, anti-defection law. Now important articles. 79, 82, 102, 103, then 94 for the speaker. Then 249, 312, 368, Then coming to the bills, joint sitting, money bill, definition, finance bills or financial bills, budget, then the freedom of speech for the MPs, MLAs, etc. Then we have also seen the schedules. Schedule 4, Schedule 10. Okay. And yes, Article 122 as well. Okay. Mayank Vadwani. So, sir, according to question, should we also change the focus point? Are you seriously asking this question? Of course. We have to answer the question right. That is the very first rule of answer writing. Visit your answer writing lecture. Write what is asked. So, with every question, the context keeps on changing. Okay. Read the article, including the clauses. Of course. How else will you read the article, Ashay, without reading the clauses? How? Important cases. Raja Rampal case, 2007. Kyoto Holohan, 1992. And Kesham Meghchandra Singh of 2020. Okay. Gaurav, it's a long journey. A very, very long journey of answer writing. You have just started. Bhuvnesh, raising your own questions, answering your own queries in your own world. So sweet. A Charan Maharashtra case, I mean, as an example of current affairs, yes, nothing beyond that. Nutikodi, no, not at all. Roshan, second cases? What is second cases? Okay, guys, that's it. We are done with the chapter Parliament. Please, please read the chapter. It's an easy chapter, but I hope you understand now that you must have forgotten, a lot of you, what all these articles are, right? It's all about revision. Okay. So, Shalja, what is this obsession with leaderboard? We'll show the leaderboard at the end of the class. Just relax. Stop being a kid. Adult completely, I'm sure. And this is how you're behaving. Leaderboard, leaderboard. So the point is that, Anushka, please explain the way of using. How can this be explained? It's like asking me, sir, please tell me how to use flowcharts. These things will flow through the question in examples. So if you want to use any case, it can only be mentioned as an example. If I'm explaining something, say I explained anti-defection law. What did I do? I gave the example of Maharashtra. So the point is, explain the point, and then to support your explanation further, to link your answer to current events, that's where examples are used. Now, the examples can be some kind of current examples, current cases, or old cases. So, your cases, you don't have to mug up the case. That's a misconception. You have to focus on what? Focus on mentioning those points. Example, this case. Simple. Anurag, it is not required only to read those judgments. What is being taught here is sufficient, and follow current affairs. Yes, Lakshmi, it is available. Mayank Wadhwani, I will not be able to guarantee this because there may be points I mentioned in the class which may also be important. Because not everything can be written by me on the PPT. Ananya, you can get the recording immediately after the class is over. Okay? That's it. Done. Take a break. Come back at 7. Anyway, let's now come back to our discussion. Our discussion on the parliamentary committees. Just like we have the cabinet committees. Remember cabinet committees? What are cabinet committees? Cabinet committees are these organizational devices which comprise of cabinet ministers. What are parliamentary committees? Comprising of MPs. Look at a parliamentary committee meeting comprising of various MPs. So a parliamentary committee refers to a group of MPs appointed by one or both houses of the parliament to undertake certain specified tasks. Are we clear? Parliamentary committees are not mentioned in the constitution. They are mentioned under Lok Sabha rules, Rajya Sabha rules. So, under Lok Sabha rules, Rule 253 talks about parliamentary committees. Okay. Now, these parliamentary committees, you will find this topic in your Lakshmikant. See, as far as this topic is concerned, refer to chapter 23 of your Lakshmikant to get a overall gist of this topic. But some basic information. The parliamentary committees are appointed or elected by the members or are also nominated. The members are nominated by the presiding officer. Number 2, these parliamentary committees function under the control of the presiding officer, PO, presiding officer. And once the committee performs its task of evaluation, etc., it will submit its report to the presiding officer and also has a secretariat, an administrative office. Administrative office, meaning an office which will have a pen, paper, printer, cashew nuts, tea, coffee, etc. That kind of office. Okay. Now, why do we need these kind of committees? See, very important. In the house, when there are cameras all around, you as an MP have to always question the minister, fighting with the government, raising the concern, right? The task of the opposition is to oppose the government. Task of ruling party is to sing praises of the government, right? So they are completely biased inside the house, either in favor or against the party, the government. But outside the premises, within these parliamentary committees, these ministers, MPs, they become great friends in the sense that It is free from party bias. Ruling party MP, say a BJP MP, may not be able to criticize a policy in the House, right? Ruling party MP, say a BJP MP, may not be able to criticize a policy in the Lok Sabha or Raj Sabha, but can freely criticize the policy and give some inputs in the parliamentary committee. So, in the committee, the meetings are held in such a fashion that they are free from the party bias and all MPs interact informally and freely. Then it ensures accountability of the government. It keeps ministers in check. How? All these parliamentary committees, they also evaluate the performance of ministers. Evaluate their performance, keeping the ministers in check. Every year, every ministry publishes, every year, every ministry publishes what is known as their annual report. Annual reports comprise of those areas, those elements where the ministry has performed. It's like, the appreciation for the great tasks done by the ministry, right? So what has been said or published in the annual report may not all be true. Whether it is true or not, these committees evaluate that, and then the ministers can be kept in check. Questions can be asked in the parliament that you said in your annual report that this is what you have achieved. In reality, this is the scenario. That's there. And also, now think of this. Take the example of Shashi Tharoor. Shashi Tharoor has had a very long stint working in the UN, etc., and has had a vast experience in the field of, say, external affairs. Of course, since he is from the opposition now, it is almost impossible to make him a minister, right? So that's again impossible. But how else can we get his expertise? These people can be made a part of a committee, and those committees can give recommendations which can be used by the government. So all those MPs also who are from the opposition parties, if they are experts in any area, they can be made a member of that committee, and when the committee gives recommendations, then those can be seen by the government and can be used by the government, can provide help to the government in coming up with more informed, more accurate, better placed, better planned policies. Clear? Okay. So these are the advantages. Now committees can be facing some challenges also. What are the challenges? Challenge number one for all these committees, let me clarify. Number one, these are not executive bodies. They have not been created by some kind of order of the government, right? They are mentioned in Lok Sabha rules. These bodies cannot issue an order. That's not possible. These bodies only give recommendations, and the recommendations are advisory and are not binding. They cannot issue an order. So what they give is just a suggestion, right? Like what I'm giving you here is just a suggestion. So the point is that it is totally up to the government, or in our case, you, whether you want to follow the suggestion or not. So if you don't want to follow the suggestion, then what can be done? Nothing can be done. That's the sorry state of affairs. So that's a limitation. Then these committees give recommendations and evaluate things in general. They cannot intervene in the daily functioning of a ministry. That's not possible. so cannot intervene in the matters of day-to-day administration. That's beyond their expertise. And then there are some committees called financial committees. They conduct a post-mortem. What is a post-mortem? When the person has died, we try to find out the cause of the death. That's the real problem here. See, when the money is spent, money has been spent already. The government prepares a report. Based on this report only, does the government now submit this report to the CAG. CAG evaluates these reports. And once the CAG evaluates these reports, what happens? The evaluated reports are then tabled in the House on which the MPs can discuss. Now, you will say that this is great accountability. The MPs are able to discuss on all those important areas where the government spent money and can find the fault. But what can be done? Can the money be unspent now? Think of this. You ordered something from, say, Mintra, AGIO, right? And your mom is scolding you. Why have you ordered one more piece of clothing? And you immediately cut the tag and throw it away. Now what to do? Now your mom is trapped. The purchase has been made. Please don't try all these tricks in your house. If you try, at your own risk, if a slipper comes flying on your face, I will not take the blame. Are we clear? Okay. So this is the exact situation with respect to the financial committees. They are evaluating the money spent, which has already been spent now. So all we can do now is scold the government. Why did you spend the money? We cannot bring back the money lost or wasted. That's a limitation. Now, these committees can be of two types. We know this category: ad hoc and standing. What is ad hoc? Temporary, for a specific purpose. That's called ad hoc. What is standing? A permanent committee formed every year. Members may keep on changing. The committee will always be there. Clear? Now, ad hoc committees are basically committees formed for a specific task. Once the task is over, the committee is disbanded. Simple. But permanent committees or standing committees, there are 6 such standing committees, 6 of them. And all these committees are formed every year. For example, we'll see now Public Accounts Committee, Ethics Committee, DRSCs. A very good example is DRSC. We'll see all these committees shortly. Now, parliamentary committees can be categorized along 2 other lines also, or based on membership. Based on membership. This was based on tenure. This is based on membership. So we have something called a select committee, which has members from one house only. Members from one house only. A very good example is this estimates committee. Estimates committee has members only from Lok Sabha. It has 30 members. All from Lok Sabha. But most of the other committees are actually joint committees. Joint committee meaning members from both the houses. Example, PSC, Public Accounts Committee. 15 from Lok Sabha, 7 from Rajya Sabha. Or DRSCs, departmentally related standing committees, 21 from Lok Sabha, 10 from Rajya Sabha, right? So this is one more categorization, joint and select. These are the 6 standing committees. What is important is the financial committees and the DRSCs. Other 4 types are not really important. In your book Lakshmikant, you have chapter 23, which is reference to the committees. (23.8) onwards. You have the reference to all these committees. So in case you want, read it. Not really important for the examination. Okay. I don't have Lakshmikant. It's okay. I'm just telling people who want to read Lakshmikant. You firstly read the PPTs and mug up the PPTs. Yojana, Kudakshita monthly magazine editorials and political theory. That is sufficient. Nothing else is required only. Okay. Now we'll discuss firstly the financial committees, of which 2 are very important: the PAC and the estimates committee. So the PAC, the Public Accounts Committee, or the Committee on Public Accounts, and the Estimates Committee. Now, just one point I'd like to mention here only. Just additional information. There are some committees whose chairperson is the speaker, right? We have, at the end of our discussion, mentioned an entire table with names of all the committees. So I'll explain that later on. So don't worry. First up is the PAC, the Public Accounts Committee. This is the oldest committee in the country. It was set up on the recommendations of the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms, that is the Government of India Act 1919. Just write under the provisions of Government of India Act 1919. This committee is mentioned under because it is not mentioned in the constitution. It is mentioned under the Lok Sabha rules, Rule 308. Okay. Now, this committee has 22 members, 15 from Lok Sabha, 7 from Rajya Sabha. So it's a joint committee. Now, one more thing, members. The tenure of members is 1 year and they are all elected via proportional representation, meaning every party has some members of its party in this committee. Now, one more thing. Who is a chairperson of this committee? The chairperson of this committee is always from the opposition party. That was not the case till 1966. The chairman used to come from ruling party, which made no sense. But thankfully now, better sense has prevailed. Since 1967, the chairman comes from the opposition party and is appointed by speaker. Okay. One more thing. This committee used to be originally just a select committee, meaning members from Lok Sabha only. Raj Sabha membership has been introduced since 1955. So since 1955, this committee has 7 MPs from Rajya Sabha also. Clear? Basic information. Now, what's the task of this committee? Most important element. So, examining the appropriation, withdrawal accounts, and the finance accounts of the union government. At whatever point the government is spending money, receiving money, every such point of audit, this particular committee evaluates what has been happening in the last 1 year. And they also examine the audit reports of CAG. So what happens is that the CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General, this post, you'll be studying about this person in your governance classes. So the CAG performs a very, very important task. And what's that important task? The important task is to evaluate the financial transactions of the government. And the CAG will give this report to the president, who will table this report in the parliament. CAG is the head of a department called Indian Audit and Accounts Department. It's a service in your UPSC service, IAAS. Now, these are auditors. The report that they prepare is a very technical kind of report. Our MPs may not have any understanding of it. So, the report is given to PAC, this committee only, this committee. And then this committee will understand, absorb, comprehend the report and make it more feasible and easy to understand and give the report back to the presiding officer, on which now the MPs can fight, argue, and discuss in the House. Clear? Okay. So that's the task of this particular committee. In fact, we say that the CAG, this person CAG, is the friend, philosopher, and guide to the PAC, Public Accounts Committee. Now, just to summarize, what exactly are the functions that this particular committee performs? To summarize it, very simple. What's the task given to it? The task is to discover, to expose. Number one, any kind of legal or technical irregularities. Legal or technical irregularities. Meaning, remember in the budget we are discussing this term called reappropriation. What does that mean? It means that if the money has been given to you to spend on a certain scheme, please do not use that money for some other scheme. I'm not saying you are involved in corruption. I'm saying it is wrong. Without Parliament's permission, please don't change the order. Please don't reappropriate it somewhere else. Right? So that is not allowed. You have to get the Parliament's permission. So if by chance any ministry has used the money meant for something else on some other thing, that's called a legal or a technical mistake. It is not some act of corruption, but that is wrong. Second thing is to also discover any wasteful expenditure, when the government has wasted money, any act of corruption, any fraud, any scam, any inefficient expenditure, etc. So this is primarily the task performed by the PAC. Are we clear on this? appropriation account base. Appropriation means withdrawal, meaning whichever account or from wherever has the government withdrawn money to spend, the PAC will evaluate all such accounts from wherever money has been taken out. Clear? So this is the PAC. Now, of course, as I said, the same challenges continue here also. The PAC cannot evaluate government's policy decisions, right? It conducts only post-mortem. It cannot intervene in day-to-day administration. It cannot issue orders. It cannot disallow expenditure. After all, the money has been granted by the parliament. Government, take it, go waste it, I mean, go spend it, right? Now the PAC is only conducting a post-mortem. Money you spend, they are just conducting post-mortem. Moving on, solve this question first, and then we'll discuss further. Okay, great. The chairman of the Committee on Public Accounts is appointed by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Absolutely correct. The Committee on Public Accounts comprises of members of Lok Sabha, very good, members of Rajya Sabha, correct, and a few eminent persons, nonsense. They can be invited to sit, but the committee does not comprise of them. 2 is wrong. A, 1 only. Okay. Moving on now to the next committee, that's called the Estimates Committee. So now look at this very basic idea behind this committee. See, as far as this Estimates Committee is concerned, what's the purpose? See, firstly, this committee is a select committee, meaning this committee comprises of members only from Lok Sabha. These are some factual things, no problem. And this committee is mentioned under Rule 310 of the Lok Sabha rules. Now, think of this very simple example from your life only. Let's say you want to purchase a pair of denims, a pair of jeans. You have decided to purchase a pair of jeans. Your decision is final. Now you want to seek some help of your friend. So you ask them which company, which brand, which place, which mall, online, offline, all these things. You have set aside 10,000 rupees to purchase a pair of jeans, and now you want to purchase jeans within that amount only, and you want to purchase the best pair of jeans. Now, there are two things that can be asked to you. One would be you are seeking advice on helping you out to make a very good purchase, most efficient purchase. So I can tell you, okay, do one thing, purchase online or purchase offline, go on in that mall, maybe there's a discount there, wait for around 15 days, some kind of discount will come, Diwali Desha discount will come. All this drama can be done. One more question can be asked to you. Why do you want to purchase jeans? You are an aspirant. Who are you trying to impress? Where are you going out? You are neither going out nor any party. Then why the wastage of money? Don't purchase it. The point is that your spending can also be questioned, or your spending can also be made more efficient. But the problem here is you control your money. I cannot control your, I cannot question your spending. If you have decided, you'll spend it. I can only advise you on how to use the money in the best possible fashion. The same task is performed by the estimates committee also. Estimates committee's task is to report throughout the year what savings can be made with what administrative reforms. The budget has been approved. Okay, the budget has been approved. Money is being spent now. Think of the protein powder or the Pradhan Mantri Bodybuilder Yojana only. Remember the Yojana? Bodybuilder Yojana. This is a scheme which has been approved now. Just an example, not in reality. Now, this estimates committee can study this and can tell the government, do one thing. You have taken 10,000 crore rupees for this scheme. Why don't you purchase or give the contract to some Indian company? The Indian company can supply you the protein powder at a much cheaper rate. It will save you a lot of money. So I am not saying the scheme is wrong. Who am I to say this? The parliament has approved it. I am only giving you a suggestion on how to utilize the money properly so as to not waste it. Why do you want to purchase the protein powder comes of say on or Dimetize? Not required. These are costly companies. Lot of import tax uselessly. Why don't we give this contract to some local Indian company and save more money on it? Clear? So the function is to report what economies, what improvement in organization, efficiency, and what kind of administrative reforms consistent with the policy underlying the estimate. What estimate? The budget estimate. So I am not questioning the scheme. The scheme is okay. I am only telling you how to improve, how to spend money more efficiently, what kind of reform can be done. Why don't we directly not give a contract to any company but go for bidding like IPL? Ask all these protein powder companies, come on, quote a rate. We want to purchase 10,000 kgs of protein powder over the course of next 3 months. Tell us what's your rate. Simple. Then to suggest alternative policies in order to bring about efficiency and economy administration. Now, they can, we are not saying the scheme is wrong, but I'm telling you, do one more thing. Why don't you also start adding in the midday meal milk and eggs? Milk for people who are vegetarians, eggs for people who are non-vegetarians, and also not to forget maybe soy milk for people who are vegans, right? So I am telling you, do one thing. Yes, protein powder is good, but let us also try to supplement the midday meal, the meal of the kid, with milk, eggs, or soy, right? To give the kid an alternative. So, suggesting alternative policies in order to bring about efficiency in economy and administration. And lastly, to examine whether the money is well laid out within the limits of the policy implied in the estimates. What estimates? Budget estimates. Meaning, uh, when you have obtained 10,000 crore rupees, right, will the protein powder or bodybuilder yojana, can the ultimate objective be achieved through this much money, or do you need more money in future? That's also something this particular committee can recommend. So basically the task is very elaborate. You have to go in detail and find out, give alternatives. So if I have to give you a suggestion on purchasing say a pair of denims, it's not an easy task. I have to know all the information, all possible information on what is the price online, offline, which mall sells the best quality jeans, which company would give you a long lasting pair of denims, etc. And then only can I give you an informed opinion, right? And imagine if 100 people ask me all different things, I may not be able to help everybody out. For example, If somebody asks me, please tell me a strategy to study here online, it's possible. I can explain to them. But if all people start asking me and start mailing me, please give me a plan to study, that may not be possible, right? Same thing here. The big limitation of this estimates committee is that it can only examine every year certain selected ministries and departments. That's the biggest problem with this committee, that it cannot evaluate the performance of all the departments and keep on giving them suggestions, because after all, this committee comprises of MPs. Those MPs have a task towards their constituency also. These MPs have an obligation to work in the parliament and question the government also, right? So how are they getting time? That's a challenge. Beyond that, it has no control over the budget. When the budget has been approved, only then does this committee gets to see the budget and then can give recommendations how to spend money. So I have no say in whether you should purchase jeans or maybe just some kind of chinos. That's something you have decided on your own. Now all I can do is suggest to you which company or which brand jeans to buy. But had you given me an option beforehand, then I would have more options to choose whether I should suggest you to buy a jeans or chinos or maybe some other track pants, etc. Right? Then it cannot question the policy. I am not saying this scheme is wrong. Scheme is good. I am just telling you how to spend money under the scheme. That's also a limitation. And recommendations, of course, as usual, are advisory. For all these committees, the recommendations are going to be advisory only, because these committees are not some executive body, neither statutory nor executive nor constitutional. These are mentioned in the Lok Sabha rules. They don't have power to give orders to the government. Okay. And lastly, one issue with respect to again this committee is that if you look at PAC, PAC has the help of CAG. We say that the CAG is a friend, a philosopher, guide to the PAC. But such expert assistance of CAG is not available to the Public Accounts Committee. Clear? So these are the issues. Just one point. Here, though I mentioned this later on, but let's still mention it here. The chairperson is from the ruling party. And here also people are elected through proportional representation. Members elected via proportional representation, meaning every party or almost every big party will have some members in this particular estimates committee. This committee is also called a continuous economy committee. Continuous economy committee. And yes, tenure is also 1 year. That is there for all these committees. 1 year tenure. Clear on this? Yes, Mushtaba, of course. Shubha, yes. Bhagya, then what will be the good solution? No. Why? I mean, if I belong to ruling party, I can always give a suggestion, because this committee is not criticizing the government's program. Understand the point here. As a ruling party MP, I am not criticizing the scheme. I am just giving you help. I am providing you support on how to spend money properly. Why is that wrong? That's not at all wrong. Okay. Now, the most important committees in the House are the DRSCs, departmentally related standing committees. Asha, this is not mentioned in political theory. Asha, please tell me your current educational status right now. Departmentally related standing committees, DRSCs. Do you remember this was discussed under budget? Yes or no? Under budget. So now I'll help you understand what exactly is this concept of DRSC. See, the idea is that whenever any bill is brought in the house on any topic, let's say a bill is brought on science and tech. Now the ministers or minister who brings the bill wants the bill to be passed after discussion in the house. But if the bill is very technical in nature, all these MPs, they are not experts in science and tech. So it can be very awkward for most MPs to even understand what the hell is happening. So what we'll do, we'll choose some MPs who are experts in that area and ask them, oh, you come here, you guys take this bill, give a report on the pros and cons. Once the report is given, then the MPs can fight on that. It has been simplified properly. That's a task of this DRSC. DRSCs were not there originally in the rules, they were added later on. These were introduced in 1993. Originally 17. How many are there now? Tell me. How many DRSCs? Now we have 24 such DRSCs. Okay, great. Now, some of these DRSCs function under the Rajya Sabha. It does not mean that they have members only from Rajya Sabha. It is just that these DRSCs need pen, paper, photocopy machine, A4 sheet, right? Tea, coffee, water, almonds, walnuts, etc. So if you have any issue or concern with respect to something, you please contact the speaker or you please contact the chairperson. So these 8 committees function under the control of the chairperson. The name is not really important, just remember some examples. And the remaining 16 function under the control of the what? Speaker. And when it comes to membership, members 21 belong to Lok Sabha and 10 belong to Rajya Sabha. This is about the membership of this particular committee. The DRSC, Departmentally Related Standing Committee. So look at this. The names of these committees are like some government ministry only. Agriculture, food, labor, etc. That's why in the news sometimes you may also find them mentioned as DSCs, or they can largely be called as, and they are most commonly called as, Parliamentary Committee on some topic. So if it's the finance, so they'll say the Parliamentary Committee on Finance, the Parliamentary Committee on Health. So don't be confused. They are referring to DRSC only. The correct term is DRSC, Departmentally Related Standing Committees. Megha, how 24? Members of Lok Sabha are 21 and Rajya Sabha. But number of committees are 24. Where am I stuck here? Number of committees. This is 24. Members, or in each committee, you have 21 MPs from Lok Sabha, 10 from Rajya Sabha. Is it important to mug up all this? This information, yes. Names of committees, not really. But how many members? It may be asked. I cannot say that it won't be asked. It has been asked. So it can be asked. Lakshya, where were you? Suddenly coming in between, joining, and then asking what? I'll repeat this again, guys. These 16 committees, these are 16 in number. You can count them. Sit in a house and count alone. Or 8 in number. These 8 committees actually work under the Rajya Sabha. So my simple question, DRSC on commerce, will the DRSC on commerce have MPs from Lok Sabha as members? Yes or no? 24 committees have members from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. 21 MPs from Lok Sabha, 10 from Rajya Sabha in each committee. So the Committee on Commerce will have 21 MPs from Lok Sabha and 10 from Rajya Sabha, collectively 31 MPs in this Committee on Commerce. Now, this Committee on Commerce, if it wants any kind of pen, paper, seat is torn, they want to sit and discuss something, they want a room somewhere to discuss, they want to print something, they will contact the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Are we clear? If they prepare a report, they'll give the report to the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Are we clear on this now? Now, please let me ask you a question. This DRSC on petroleum, will it have MPs from Rajya Sabha? Now, what happened? Now, coming to the more important part. Now, I thought this was like something very basic and childish, but yeah, we took a lot of time here. But anyway, coming to the more important part now. What's the actual task of these committees? As I explained earlier also, that see, frankly, and uh, this committee is mentioned under rule. See, this rule is not important, but if you write this in your answers, I am sure that the evaluator will get impressed. This is very natural, but it is not mandatory to mug up. But because these committees are important, only 3 or 4 are being mugged up. So this rule 331C can be mugged up. It's not something very challenging. Now, these committees help in scrutinizing the budget. Yes or no? Tell me. The budget is broken into various small parts and it is sent to the committees, the committee stage. The demand for grants are discussed by this committee only. So they will evaluate, scrutinize the budget. Number 2, whenever any particular bill is brought in the parliament, in any house, the bill can be, may, not mandatory. The bill may be referred to the committee. Let's say a bill has been brought on, say, agriculture. So the bill can be referred to a committee on agriculture. This parliamentary committee on agriculture is here. Clear on this? That's there. Then, whenever the any party comes to power, all its ministries and the government in total also, they have some long-term plan. Like you have a long-term plan. After 2 years, we'll clear UPSC. Some of you have a plan. I'll clear in the very first attempt. Though it's a nice thing to think of, but I don't approve of this kind of behavior. I'll tell you why. Because, and just a piece of advice, I'm just deviating a bit. That puts a lot of pressure on you. But I have to get this done in the very first attempt. Secondly, see, it's an examination where there is no way to know just clear by scoring certain number of marks. You can only clear by defeating other people. You don't know how much others are preparing. So it's a very subjective examination where your success also depends on other people. So there's no guarantee. Yes, if you put in the effort, you are guaranteed to clear the examination. If not today, tomorrow. But if you have this kind of mindset, trust me on this. You may feel, oh, this is demotivating. No, this is actually motivating. That don't have this pressure on your mind. The exam is already very, very difficult. Just relax, enjoy the process, and things will be okay. So, anyway, so some of you may have a plan to clear the exam in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. After 5 years, marry the person of my own choice. All these things that you have been thinking of. It's great. It's amazing. But the point I'm trying to make is the same thing is done by the government also. What is going to be their 5 year plan, 10-year plan, their long term policy documents, their vision, their mission, etc. These committees, these committees will look into, evaluate the performance or the expectations of that particular ministry also, right? That what is their agenda for 5 years, 3 years? Are they on the right track? Are they meeting that agenda or not? If your plans to clear the exam in 2 years, then somebody has to check every 10 days one test. Am I improving my score or not? Am I covering the syllabus or not? Same thing. And also, every ministry, every department publishes their annual report, their performance report, the great things, the list of achievements, what they have done over the last 1 year. This particular committee, corresponding committee of the concerned ministry, they also consider, evaluate the annual reports of these ministries. Okay, that's there with respect to the functions. And if parents say like this, I don't want to make this statement, but most parents or most people have no idea about UPSC besides just watching it or just knowing some success story. The amount of effort required to clear the exam, I think you who are preparing would be in a better place to know. It is not a casual examination. Relatives come, it disturbs you. Parents will ask you, come to a marriage ceremony. One day, what's the problem? But these things distract you. It's a very, very focused examination. They won't understand. It's okay. Don't worry. If you know what you're doing is correct and you are sincere, then it's okay. Eventually, you'll clear the examination. And once you clear the examination, the beauty of this exam is that all your past mistakes are forgotten, right? Your parents will start loving you more. That's the beauty of this examination. You'll become their favorite child suddenly. Those long lost relatives will come and say, I always knew he or she had it in her or him. Natural. Right from childhood. I knew it. Make him an IAS officer. Make her an IPS officer. So these things happen. Don't worry. That's how the world is. That's how the world makes the assessment of success. And our parents are not aliens. They also belong to the same world. They have the same human emotions. It's very natural. Okay. Now coming to the problems of these committees. What are the problems of these committees? So I think somebody was asking a question to which an expert responded that how are members chosen? So yes, members are chosen, and I also mentioned this that if a bill is brought on say science and tech, then some MPs who are experts in science and tech, they are made a part of this committee. Uh, that is not always the case. Membership is not based on expertise and all. Let me be very clear. Membership is based on how senior you are in the party, right? I think we discussed the same problem in cabinet committees also. It's very natural. Trust me. Expertise, expert, that's later on. Don't bring that here. My friends, come on. Friends, they should come first. Same goes for you also. When you are choosing a cricket team, etc., you firstly choose your friends. One or two bowlers and batsmen, then a friends list comes in. Same thing here. So membership is largely based on political consideration, meaning party seniors, etc. That is party seniors. then attendance is very poor and meetings are irregular. Now, both these can be attributed to two things. Number one is common membership. Now, one simple calculation, though I am very afraid of mentioning this, but let's take an attempt. How many committees do we have? 24. Each committee has how many people? 31. This means in total we need at least 744 people. Now the entire house has 788 people only maximum, of which 70-80 are ministers only. So you can very well, and these committees don't have ministers as members. That's not possible. So you will find that, and some of the MPs are completely, let's not use the word useless, but may not have the knowledge of anything. Let's be decent. So largely a single person will be a member of multiple committees. And because of that, the meetings can't be held. Secondly, think of this. These are MPs of the House, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. They have two tasks: meet the obligations of their constituency, perform in the parliament, attend the parliamentary sitting also, plus towards the constituency. How will they ever be able to take part in these committee meetings? Right? So this was a huge, this is a huge challenge, and that's why the meetings are irregular, attendance is poor. Then, one thing that we have witnessed in the recent times is the government not sending the bills to committees. One more thing, a lot of this is attributed to government trying to be dictatorial, but or government does not want the opposition party to evaluate the bill. That's not entirely true, actually. Basically, uh, it has been found that the government's reluctance in sending bills to these committees is mostly due to the ministry not being interested in wasting time. It is not because of political reason. It is because they feel the bill goes to committee. There is no time limit for the committees to give a report. When they give report, discussion will take place. In the meantime, we can get the bill passed and start the work, right? So government is trying to be more enthusiastic, and they feel that these committees create some kind of obstruction in their smooth functioning. But sadly they are wrong, because these committees also keep a check and improve the quality of the legislative proposals. And think of it, if you don't if you don't send the bill to these committees for discussion, the MPs don't examine those bills. Any unexamined bill, right, is just a bureaucratic legislation, a bureaucratically conceived legislation where the MPs will have no sense of ownership with the bill. When you discuss on the topic, when you debate on the topic, then approve it, there's a collective sense of ownership with that proposal, with that bill, with that law, right? Otherwise, there's only a sense of either distrust or ignorance that something has happened, we don't care. The minister brought the bill, ruling party MPs were there, they started shouting eyes, eyes, the bill was passed. What bill was passed, I don't know. Ignorance. So these things are possible. And to just give you an example, because facts and data are important on this, percentage of bills sent to DRSCs. So over the course of last 15 years, this is the data, starting with the 14th Lok Sabha. 14th Lok Sabha, then the 15th Lok Sabha, and then the 16th Lok Sabha. And just to mention here, 14th Lok Sabha was 2000. 14th Lok Sabha was 2004 to 2009. 15th was 2009 to 14, and 16th was 2014 to 19. The Modi government, the first one. In the 14th Lok Sabha, almost 60% bills were referred to committees. In the 15th Lok Sabha, 71% bills referred to committees. In the 16th Lok Sabha, 27% bills only referred to committees. You can see that nowadays not even 1/3 bills are being referred to committees. So how serious is the government in getting their bills scrutinized is best left for you to decide. Then recommendations. As we said, recommendations are rarely accepted by the government. In fact, no. Uh, the bureaucrats and the ministers, they think too highly of themselves. They think, who are these MPs? Useless fellows. What will they teach us? And I'll give you a very good example of this. Now, while the pandemic was going on, there was a constant demand from the doctor's side that increase the availability of oxygen cylinders. And the government was hell bent on issuing contracts for ventilators, while ventilators were lying unused in various taluks. Unused, right? And contracts being given to various companies in Gujarat for ventilators, but lack of oxygen cylinders. There was a DRSC on health. I mean, there's this committee called DRSC on health. It, in its 123rd report, actually said increase the availability of oxygen cylinders. It's very, very important. But sadly, our governments are too full of themselves, including people like you, the bureaucrats, who may not even look at the committee recommendations. What will the committees teach us? We know everything. That's there, sadly. So these are some of the problems. Now, how to solve the problems? Very simple. Firstly, membership quality has to be improved. Membership has to be based on expertise in the area, right? Somebody who has held a ministry like that, somebody who has a degree in that, etc. Number two, sending bills to DRSCs should be automatic. Now, it should not depend on the presiding officer and all. Please send all bills to DRSCs. Let them evaluate. Also, very important, the government keeps on saying that what if we send a bill to DRSC? We don't know within what time frame they'll send back a report. We have to sit and wait only for 6 months. So, fixed timeline for DRSCs to submit reports. No problem. Within 2 months, 15 days, 1 month, they can submit the report. Fix it. Then, suggestions of DRSCs should be ideally binding. Now, I'll tell you and explain something here which will be of great help to you. Understand this point now. Please carefully understand it. Let us take an example of a body called NHRC, Human Rights Commission, the National Human Rights Commission. There are various such bodies, UPSC, Election Commission, so many bodies. All these bodies give their annual report. What's the what's the task of this body? To give an annual report listing out what steps the government should take to improve the condition of human rights in the country, etc. So basically, this is what a report with largely recommendations. Now, you know very well, and some of you will say that, sir, yes, when the report is given to the president, he will table the report in the House. Of course. But there is a small step involved. The president will only table the report after the government has gone through the recommendations and has attached with the report a copy of what we normally mention as government's copy of ATR. ATR refers to action taken report. ATR meaning on what recommendation, what action was taken by the government. Very simple. See, this is a recommendation. On this, we approve of the recommendation. What steps have we taken? We approve. What steps are you going to take? This recommendation, sorry, we can't do it. Why? Explain. This recommendation, oh, approved. What are we doing? This recommendation, sorry, we can't do it. Why? Explain. This is what is called ideally binding. So this word ideally binding should be used in the answers also, meaning must be followed. If not, the reasons to be disclosed or mentioned. Are we clear? So there, if you are not following a recommendation, you should mention why you're not following a recommendation. Simple. Let the people, let the house know that you have not followed some recommendation because there is some genuine concern with the recommendation. Are we clear? So always use this in your answers for such committees and anywhere, that the recommendation should be ideally binding. Ideally binding means you have to follow it. You may not follow it. But if you don't follow it, please mention why you are not following the recommendation. Are we clear on this? Everybody? Great. So what we want is that we should make this suggestion of these committees as ideally binding, and also inviting outside experts from the private sector. Now, don't write IAS officer. The bill comes from bureaucracy only. If you call them in the committee, then what's the point? So inviting outside experts primarily from the private sector, they can give you a fresh perspective and out of the box perspective, which may not come from the bureaucracy, because they also work in silos and they may have some kind of limitation with respect to their knowledge, also their personal and previous experience. That's it. So these are the recommendations. Clear? Done? That's it. We are done with the parliamentary committees. The task is over. Now I'll just explain this table for all of you. Very easy to understand. Please focus and follow. So name of the committee, J stands for joint. S stands for separate, not select. Separate. So basically this, say, committee on petitions, there's a separate committee for Lok Sabha and separate committee of Rajya Sabha. Two different committees. This committee works only for Lok Sabha, all Lok Sabha MPs, and this is a committee number 2 which works inside Lok Sabha only. Joint committees are those committees which there is only one committee, joint committee, which has members from both the houses together. These people are together. These people are together. One committee. Where the welfare of SCs? One committee. One committee. Clear? Then there is only one committee which is a select committee, that's an estimates committee, which has no MPs from Rajya Sabha. And there is no committee also in Rajya Sabha which is similar to estimates committee. Then in most committees, the presiding officer chooses who will be the chairman. So decided by presiding officer. That's the meaning here. In some committees, chairman should be from the opposition, should be from the ruling party. And in some committees, like the Business Advisory Committee, like the Rules Committee, and also one more committee, General Purpose Committee. In all these three committees, the chairman is the presiding officer of the house, not chosen by he or she himself or herself, is the presiding officer. Clear? Now, apart from this, you can observe that in most of these committees, ministers cannot become members because most committees are evaluating the performance of the ministers only. So if you make them only members, it makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. But in some committees, there is no such limit. Ministers can also become members. Are we clear, everybody? Roshan, no. Your standard answer to everything is no. Tell me what's your concern. What J15-7? At least don't ask for PSC. Come on. We saw PSC right now. 15 members from Lok Sabha, 7 from Rajya Sabha. Shahid, are these members getting extra salaries? No, no, sir. No extra salary. They are getting cashew nuts and tea, coffee to drink and eat. Okay. One thing, Lakshmi. Committee on Subordinate Legislation. In this committee, which is a separate committee for Lok Sabha and separate for Rajya Sabha, you can find that in the Lok Sabha, minister cannot be a member. But for Rajya Sabha, nothing is mentioned. So in Rajya Sabha, minister can become a member. Are we clear? Yes, Krishnendu, they can have different chairman also. Rajan, simple counting is sufficient. Now, whether you want to mug up this chart or not is totally up to you, because on certain occasions, questions have been asked. For example, look at this question. Asked in 2014. I'll give you 30 seconds only to mark the answer. So please mark your answer. Let's see what you mark as the answer. Rajan, 24 plus these remaining committees. Various answers are coming. Yes, Megha, that's okay. So for this, you should not have at least marked PSC. Come on. This was blatantly wrong. 15 plus 7. 30 plus 0. How can you be wrong like this? At least this should have not have been the answer. And then the Committee on Public Undertakings, which is 22 plus 7, and the Committee on Petition, which is 15 plus 10. So this is 22 plus 7, and this is 15 plus 10. Now, that's why I said that whether you should mug up this or not, it's totally up to you, right? Cost benefit. Once a question has been asked, it can be asked, it may not be asked. So at least remember the basic ones like the PAC, Estimates Committee, DRSC, etc. Remember these basic things, that ministers are not members and all. Otherwise, mugging up the members and remembering it, not possible. It's not possible only, right? Okay. Yes, blank stands that they can be. The following reports. So every statutory and every constitutional body, they will submit their report to the president. PAC does not submit report to the president, right? Is PAC mentioned in the constitution? Common sense? No. PAC tables report to the presiding officer. These committees give their report to the presiding officer. Yes or no? Now, do you know why 2 is not the answer? Basic common sense was required, not even knowledge. So, 1, 3, 4 are all constitutional bodies. So, C is the right answer. Are we clear, everybody? Write the question. Madhuri, what concept is not clear? Nothing is clear. What taught today? Which concept is not clear? Please write a question. All of you. I'll dictate in 5 seconds. Okay. Elucidate on the elucidate means simply explain. Elucidate on the significance of elucidate on the significance of parliamentary committees in the Indian democratic framework. Full stop. Elucidate on the significance of parliamentary committees in the Indian democratic framework. Full stop. Continue. Highlight the challenges they face. Highlight the challenges they face and suggest measures to enhance their effectiveness. And suggest measures to enhance, ENHANSE, Roshan, not IN, enhance their effectiveness in the legislative process. Enhance their effectiveness in the legislative process. I'll repeat once again quickly. Elucidate or explain on the significance of parliamentary committees in the Indian democratic process, Indian democratic framework. Full stop. Highlight the challenges they face and suggest measures to enhance their effectiveness in the legislative process. Okay. So it's 150 words only. Don't write too much, but write everything. Clear? Write these answers, send to target IAS, get them evaluated. Don't just copy them and save them that in future, one fine morning, I'll write the answer. That fine morning never comes. Madhuri, the question here is that the president will submit report to parliament for which of the bodies? And every institutional bodies. But PA, presiding officer of the house. Are we clear, Madhuri, now? Keep the administration on its toes and inspire reverence. Reverence means respect for parliamentary control. Evaluate the working of such committees with suitable examples. Simple. The functions, advantages, challenges of the parliamentary DRSCs. Not the parliamentary committees in total, but the DRSCs, to be very specific. Simple, straightforward question asked a couple of years ago. Clear? So eventually you'll have to write more answers. Please write more answers. Last box for in the Rajya Sabha by the you have the PPTs to revise. You have the PYQs to write, plus the questions I gave in the class. Then you have the book Political Theory to revise. You have Yojana Kurukshetra revision going on alternatively for the month of August, I hope. Then for from the newspaper, mandatory to read editorials. And lastly, for 2024 monthly magazine. Task for today. Venkat Nalla, Anita, me not at all. Self showing